show. Office Corner, she asked about the books they wrote.
I'm really thrilled to introduce you to Nellie Hill. She's written a really entertaining piece of work called Sunday Jenks. And we go out to California for that conversation because that's what we're talking about. So, Nellie, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you, Kate. I really enjoy the conversations with you.
So let's talk about the road to this book. What made you decide you were going to pull this all together?
Thinking about it over a few decades, well, certainly more than a few years, I just kept, they just kept coming to my mind. Oh, I've got to write it. I wrote poems about it before I found them in one of my older chapbooks of poetry. But then I was at an artist colony in McDowell, and I had a lot of time and privacy in my cabin studio, and I just started writing it. And then the dinner bell rang and saved me, so I went into the dinner hall. You don't have to do that at those colonies, but I went in, and then I couldn't wait to get back to my cabin studio and continue. I wrote it all by hand, and I acted out my characters, too. I knew I'd go in this private woodland and walk and talk just like them. So I got them down on paper. I just couldn't stop.
Wow, and it's so interesting too because we'll take people inside the book. You know, you're talking about the 1970s. You're talking about an aspiring young poet named Sara, and she leaves her artist husband and moves to San Francisco, which you think about what that would be like. It wouldn't be that easy to do that.
What? I didn't get that.
It wouldn't be very easy to do that.
Oh, no. Well, nothing's easy. But it had to be done.
And that's part of what you talk about in the book.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us more about Sara.
Well, she was sort of lost, I'd say, in where she wanted to go with her writing abilities, or where she was able to go. So San Francisco just seemed to be calling her. And she lived in an in-law and had a lot of privacy. She sort of made her own artist studio out of that in-law apartment.
And what's interesting is she did find a job. Tell everybody where she found a job.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know how she found it. Maybe an ad in the paper, or anyway, she called the number across town, half a mile or so across San Francisco, and he'd already sounded odd on the phone with a kind of accent. It sounded like a southern accent, and she went over, and he was over to his office, and he was very friendly and showed her some work. She'd done a lot of secretarial work, so it seemed kind of minimal, and he wanted to pay her something right away and have her do some files and so on. So anyway, it was kind of a character. So she hung around, and it seemed like, she'd have some sort of money coming in.
And
so she stayed. Oh, his business was wig dye.
Wig dye, yeah, wig dye. And, right there, it's intriguing. So she works for Al, and then before long, they become a couple.
Oh, yes. Yes, and Al had a partner a business partner, whose parents had some sort of beauty business, and that's where all this wig dye came from, and the whole business with Al began to happen.
Yeah, but does she start to question? I think, and we're not going to tell everybody everything in the book, but part of the plot is she doesn't really trust Al. She starts to have some questions about Al.
Yes, she has lots of questions, but she keeps going along with him anyway. I'm not quite sure what. Excuse me. The allergies must be blowing around outside, pollens and so on. Anyway, she went along. I think she wanted to find the root of his charisma and his also turn off. I mean, he did turn off quite a few people. So she just kept going. It seemed like an adventure, I guess. It is an adventure.
It's an adventure until somebody from the FBI knocks on a door.
Oh, yes, that's true. But she was sort of somewhat out of the picture, could talk herself out of it.
Right, right. So for you in writing Sunday Jenks, what was that like as you were telling us, you know, that it had taken time to put it together and how fun it was to do it sounded like, but now to have it out there in the world, that has to feel good.
I did want it out in the world. I was at a different colony when I'd really finished the draft, but I was still working on it, and I showed it to two older friends who were both playwrights, and oh my God, they loved it. They demanded to see it. I wasn't going to let anybody see this first draft, but they really loved it and got all excited. Send it to my director. Send it to mine. One was in Manhattan, the other one L.A. But I just knew I had to. I had more to do with that manuscript. I really had to get across to one question. These two artists did not have this question, but several other people did. What's a nice girl like her doing with someone like him? And so I had to just somehow get some sense of that between the lines. So that took me. It took about 40 years to really write it. And my final, one of my friends in Berkeley had read the whole manuscript. So, and she and I were in a poets writing prose group, just the three of us. So I got some help from them. Really not much. I'd pretty much gotten it all where I could send it out.
Yeah. For people who read this book, what do you hope they take away? They're listening to our conversation. It sounds interesting. You've got Sara, you've got this Al situation, you have a crazy wig dye company, and then it really unravels, you know, con artists, yikes. What do you hope people take away from reading your book?
Well, I've been thinking about that question, and basically I hope they enjoy reading a good story, and that maybe paths for them will take off into realizing what can or cannot happen.
Right, and that's intriguing. Does it make you want to dive into another book, another novel?
I'm thinking about it, but instead I wrote a memoir, which has short chapters, and it's very different. It's not a novel, but it has a lot of people in it. It's called Three Houses. That's its working title. Well, no, that's its title. And then I initially called it Mother in the Three Houses, because my mother was quite a character, and she ran these three houses. But in each section for each of the houses, one is in the Midwest, one is in New England, one is in the south of France. There are various people that give it character, I think. Image comes to mind, like threads of paint and so on, house interior decorating.
Right.
It's what these different people do, inside and outside. I just started rereading a part of it last night. I had to let it go because I had somewhere to be or to talk to. Anyway, that was rewarding to find it engaging to me. I don't expect to be engaged by my writing, especially something I've written a few years ago.
All right. Well, they say always reread what you write. And absolutely, Sunday Jenks is really fun, and you can get it for a song on Amazon. And same thing, we have to look for Three Houses, and we can't wait to see what else happens in the future. Nellie Hill, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Kate. I'm glad to be talking with you, and thank you for these questions.